The newsroom, where untold story is revealed.
Olina okuteesa ne population and change course, or population eve ku stage ene ekwate mu mundu. Abannayuganda bali on record nga baapurutinze okusigukurra state ya Amini bagijjako, state ya Obote UNRA bagijjako. Kakati tosobola gamba nti the same Ugandans tebasobola kujjawo the state of Museveni basobola.
When you press people against the wall, a time comes and they get agitated. Maybe Ugandan people have not gotten agitated enough. Sometimes I keep thinking, because people have been saying this cannot happen. Because in Kenya, these protests, the Generation Z protests, Raila is not in the picture. In fact, he also wrote a statement condemning and so on.
Nyongera bajjukiza obutetantala kwekalakasa. Nyongera bajjukiza obutetantala.
Ekituufu kiri nti ebigambo ebyo byonna mugenzi maaso n'okubeera nga mubiwulira bulungi. Musajja mukulu Rwomushana ono nno amanyikiddwa ng'okubeera nga akuutanya akadingiri k'ekibiina ky'NRM era ng'ono yakolerako n'ekitongole kya ISO oluwalira avuddeyo n'alabula gavumenti ya kuno n'abagamba temwetantala kugenda maaso n'okubeera nga munyigiriza bannayuganda kigenzi wala kuba ekiri e Kenya ne wano kisobola okutuukawo. N'agamba nti ate bannayuganda bo bakaawo nnyo n'okusinga nga bwe mukirowooza. Era Lopu Joel Ssenyonyi naye nno agenze maaso n'okubeera nga ayongera okwo n'agamba nti omanyi gy'okoma okunyigiriza ennyendo gy'ekoma okubeera nga mwanattu ezaala omusaayi oba oliawo gizaaza omusaayi. Kati nno biibino ebirala byayogedde ate nga bikanga. Njagala okusaba n'obwombeefu bw'ekika ekyawaggulu vidiyo eno sooka ogimpereka like etambulire eddala etuukeneko oyo omulala eyandyagadde ogenda maaso n'okubeera ng'agifuna ate era gwe yasubscribing edda njagala okwebaza wabula atanaba subscribing nkusaba n'obwombeefu obw'ekika ekyawaggulu ennyo sooka subscribing video jasigala playing mu background yo ate era nkutegeeza nti tulina channel yaffe ya sister channel BTN Media Beyond the Newsroom. Kebera awo mu comment section waliwo link ogikonemu ogende maaso n'okubeera ng'osubscribinga munnaye ate baganda bagamba okwerinda sibuti eneeyo tugendeyo. Sheikh Ashraf Dembe musomi wa dduwa agamba nti gwe n'ebizibu eby'enjawulo ky'ekyokuddamu gy'oli ajagenda maaso n'okukolako simu esembeyo 11 ku screen. Kakati nno Nakangubi Jennifer Fulufigo olunaku olwaleero avuddeyo n'ategeeza nti temwetantala bannayuganda ogenda maaso n'okukoppa ebyabadde Kenya okwekalakaasa. Ye n'agamba omugaati byebiki omugaati nga gwekalakasa gutya abantu nga bo bakulira ku mawolu agalumondo mukalirire. Kambi kuwe olabe ebigambo bya Fulufiga wano mu Uganda bwoba serious. Ekituufu kiri nti beera serious wekka.
Nyongera bajjukiza obutetantala kwekalakasa. Nyongera bajjukiza obutetantala butakopperera. Bakazi mwe temutukabirira.
Ne President Ruto naye tumuwe ku magezi akopi ku Uganda.
Temutukabirira bakazi mwe balina ebyana ebizezeregu.
Ekyo kye wakoze bakiyita setting the precedent. Kati buli kyonokola abantu bagenda kubanga beekalakasa.
Nga bakumanyira.
Wabakonedde mu stampu tukwekalakasa ku solving ekizibu ekyokubiri. Koppa ku Uganda. Bwabeerawo problem.
Kati abeekalakasiza.
Ayita ba leaders ne bateesa.
Ebintu ebyayonye bimanyi. Nayenga bamenye parliament yabo.
Ne Uganda usibajucheza.
Kati government egenda kuddamu kwa Tomo Simbi ezimbe ogwandikoze ekirala. Oba ntegedde. Era jabali mezaka.
Ne Uganda usibajucheza.
Ekyokubiri waliwo ekintu ekitatwala muntu kwekalakasa era nze kyovola banjagala Museveni. Nja kufana Museveni.
Ali obade na reportinga nengamba nti ensobi gye approach CM owa Uganda kati okukalakasa bukwantuusaawo yali badayita balida nene ngatako kye wayogera wano naye balida bagenda buli muntu ngajukira nti nyimbe yange tenagwa baba abagenze okukikirira abantu abamu nga badda mukabampane nga bali kololo naye nga chance eya discussion
abamu kubali kololo
yagibawadde.
Njagala okutegeeza Fred Nango omwogezi wa police na mwena bakulira police side crime intelligence afanda mulira bani mwenna muyite omusajja oyo akole statement. Omusajja ali ku bantu abagamba nti mugule mmere ekiri Kenya kitono mugule wali awo yeyita musuubuzi kubanga twagenze ba Museveni ate teyadde tugadde ennaku ndala simanyi asatu simanyi biki. Muyite omusajja oyo ekibuli akole statement.
Muve mukusagira mu bintu
akumamu abantu omuliro ali mugaba abasuubuzi bagule mmere mbwe kiri Kenya kitono
tegamba abasuubuzi agamba nafe
mugenda kushiraba mu public ye ayogeza arrogance ayogeza kabanda be kabampane kuba yagala okwesimba we yesemba bule simanyi luddawa babagenda wa Museveni besabira sente mugati bano balina akajanja ne Sudan gwali mugati bano balina akajanja k'emigaati balina engezigezi emigati ne bibekeri Museveni abiwere wano nga bukyali
mukoddomi wange ntake omukozi
babiwere tulyawuwe
yentakirika ne mukono bread
Museveni abiwere mangu fe twakulira ku lumonde n'amawogo nga tumukalira walako ku mmembe
mama mmere bagikaliriranga bulungi
twakaliriranga lumonde oyo n'akaluba bw'ati
no nga tubitadde ku mabbali kituufu kiri nti bw'oba siriyaso enaba wekka Frank Gashumba afuddeyo n'agamba nti ababaka abagenda maaso n'okubeera nga bali enguzi buli muli wanguzi yenna asaana agende maaso n'okubeera nga akwatibwa ate bateekewo etteeka ekkakali erigenda okubeera nga libanyigiriza baleme kuddamu kwenyigira mu buli wanguzi obwenkaniddeawo.
Njagala okubba sente z'omuwi w'omusolo kifuuke ng'okkuba essasi kubanga mu Uganda muno ng'oyala okwetama lwaki eri mundu kuba essasi okuba omuntu essasi ku mundu eziri mu Kampala muno mirundi bakala owulira essasi mu bbanga kuba buli alina emundu akimanyi
mu bitundu bye Elyantonde olunaku olwaleero ekibiina kya National Unity Platform nga kiyita mu ttabi eryakkunga omukulu amanyikiddwa nga Nyanzi Fred Chairman abadde mu bitundu byeyo n'akubiriza abannayuganda okutwaliza awamu genda maaso n'okubeera nga beekuuma nga bali bumu kyayise unity then ate n'ogenda maaso n'okubeera nga balemera ku mulamwa ogw'okutwala obuyinza oba obukulembeze bw'eggwanga lino.
Ababaka bwankole bannayuganda bonna nga twegasse tutwale eggwanga lyaffe muki maaso kyovola ba National Unity Platform tuli nationalistic twagala eggwanga lyaffe omutima gwa nation unity twagala tubeere united platform buli omu afune platform aje ayogere ebigambo biguke buli omu abe n'eddoboozi kyekyo ekibiina kye bayita National Unity Platform ate musooke mukube engalo mbabuulire twakoze essomero ly'obukulembeze that school of leadership egenda tubangula abantu bamanye history y'eggwanga lya mu nnimi zonna abantu nga bajja ne basoma Lyantonde mutandika okusala amagezi agajja e Kampala ate n'abapoliisi ab'omundu tujja bayita bajje basome mu kyama kale bajja kuwambana mu masiki
kati ebyo nno nga tubitadde ku mabbali Joel Ssenyonyi Lop adde ku mukutu ogumu ogwa television aliko ensonga zagenze maaso n'okubeera nga ataanya era njagala tugende maaso n'okubeera nga oba oliawo zonna tuziyitamu bwe tuti wabula vidiyo eno nkusaba giwe like etambulire eddala etuuke ne kuoyo yandiyagadde ogenda maaso n'okubeera nga agifuna.
Let me reiterate what I said earlier. The challenge here is not the protesters, it is the state. That however peaceful you are, you will be clobbered. Vehemently so. That's the challenge here, because we have a military man who is doing anything and everything to keep his grip onto power. That's the situation here in Uganda. That even when you're just holding placards, they'll come at you with so severe a force, like it is a rebel group. I've experienced that, and you have seen many times people cover, peaceful people who are holding placards and so on. As soon as they begin to assemble, the military descends on them and beats them to pulp. So that's the difference here. It is the state. On the other end, problematic, as the situation might be too, but to a large extent, people are let to operate peacefully. Their institutions also function. I don't know if you've read a letter by the Chief Justice of Kenya, the Honorable Justice Martha Koome. Have you read that letter? That statement? You should. It speaks to institutions that function. She's condemning the abductions. She's actually used the word abductions in her statement twice. And why is she calling it an abduction? She's saying people who are wielding guns in ordinary clothes, they're picking up people and taking them no one knows where. And so she has referred to that as abductions. A word we have been using here in Uganda, and the state keeps saying, including the Human Rights Commission. Maria Mwangada, she came up and said, no, those are not abductions, they are arrests. But how is an arrest conducted? And so Martha Koome is taking the state to school, and she's adumbrating what an arrest is. In their jurisprudence, it is provided for you holding somebody for not more than 24 hours. Ours is 48 hours. In Kenya, it's different. It's 24 hours, beyond which you must produce somebody in court. Or the Speaker of Parliament has really captured that institution. And the opposition has not been left out. And that's why sometimes you see a couple of them speak out a particular way, whether it be in defense of her and so on. But you see, things are very clear. In the last parliament, 164 billion shillings absquatulated, cooperatives' money. It was stolen, including by opposition members of parliament. And my hope is that as they carry out investigations, everybody will be touched, because there's a tendency of, but you see now, this opposition figure here, this one, let's leave them because they're helping us to divide the opposition. Once you go after them, they lose credibility, and so on. So there's a lot of that. There are people who fear to speak out. If I speak out, the speaker will deny me a trip.
Quite interesting.
Oh, yes. It is sad. You find somebody that's been in parliament for 2-3 terms.
But it's also still fighting for.
And they are fearing to speak out because the speaker will deny me a trip. Can you imagine? You cannot say that for some who are corrupt, it is a mistake. Then others, they are genuine thieves. When do you determine what a mistake is and what is not? A thief is a thief. I saw the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Anita Among, when she was speaking in Luengo, she said, because she had met the President, I think a day or so before, and those pictures came out with the Chief Justice. And she said, the President has heard your cries, you know, and so, yeah, when a child makes a mistake, you tell them, go and don't do it again. What is that? And then you tell us you're serious about fighting graft. It just cannot happen, because as we saw with the Mabati saga, the top thieves were ignored. They went for a few, and then matters fizzled out. So even for this situation, yes, they'll go after a few, but then eventually it will fizzle out. And that's why you see...
But to be fair, the Mabati case is still going on.
How many people are before courts of law?
How many people are, of course, those that have been sanctioned by the DPP?
How many people took Mabati made for Karamoja? You guys reported these things. Yeah?
Yes. There are those that there are reports. Yeah. Then you said you're a lawyer. There are legal processes. And these are sanctions. We can only say much when the DPP said these are the people that have the case.
Yeah, and that's my point. You see, even the judiciary is influenced, and that's why the Chief Justice was called to that meeting. You know, this one, yes, you can go after this one, don't, and that kind of thing. The entire system is literally roughshod over. So I think what we are doing is a lot of window dressing. We cannot fight graft when we say one thing and do another. I had the Speaker of Parliament saying, you see, it is okay to touch some money here to steal as long as you come and share with the voters. What sort of preposterous statement is that? And then she was backed up by other excited MPs, the Chinyamatamas, and so on. Hey, she has been stealing, but she comes and she shares with you. Isn't that true? And that kind of thing. And you think you're serious about fighting graft? When you press people against the wall, a time comes and they get agitated. Maybe Ugandan people have not gotten agitated enough. Sometimes I keep thinking. Because people have been saying this cannot happen. Because in Kenya, these protests, the Generation Z protests, Raila is not in the picture. In fact, he also wrote a statement condemning and so on. The politicians are not taking lead. It's the people who are saying, no, we are bothered by these happenings, and so they are standing out. It is a leaderless movement.
It's just spontaneous.
Of course, there's been a build-up over many things. That's why I'm saying when you keep pressing people against the wall, there is a build-up. But as it speaks now, I'm not even sure Raila is in the country.
You think there's no leadership in this? It's just people rising up.
Have you seen anyone that has come out to lead, as has been the case? Because the previous protests that they did have, you saw the Maandamano protests. Who was leading?
But you see, sometimes the tactic, it can be tactical. May not easily come out, and that's why even Ruto is saying that he's picking the people that are planning these protests.
The bottom line, Dalton, is that this is now a people, citizen-led protest. Of course, there will be some among them who are coordinating several things to make sure, you know, there is food, to make sure there's medical care, emergency, ambulances, and that kind of thing. There must be a level of that, for it to be sustained. But my point is, there's no political leadership in the sense of somebody is commandeering from somewhere and saying, let's do this, and so on. These are ordinary citizens, young people who are saying...
In the Ugandan situation, Ugandans have not been anguished enough to go to the streets. The condition has not pushed them there, or it is something external.
The factors are twofold. Mr. Museveni has mastered the art of debilitating people. That people know once you come out however peacefully, you will be killed and so on. So to inoculate fear in them. But two, yes, I mean, I think that Ugandans have got to rise to the occasion. Some of those protests we have had, like that OTT protest, were downtown, and people kept coming to take selfies with us.
Maybe they hadn't understood what is OTT. You hadn't done enough sensitization for them to really build up that anger. They understand that it's affecting them.
No, they understood because it was affecting them directly, and they were out complaining on social media and so on. They knew what exactly this was. It was affecting them via mobile money, via data on their mobile phones. Yeah?
Yes.
So they knew exactly what was happening. Yeah. But maybe the population needs to get to that level, because, like I was saying, they kept coming and taking selfies with us, and were saying, "You guys, instead of joining us, you're coming to take selfies with us." And then others, you know, crowded on their shops, and they're saying, "Hey, go ahead, please fight for us." And we said, "You guys, we are not fighting for you. We are fighting for ourselves. Do come and fight for yourselves too." So maybe we need to get to that place, but it's a continuous build-up, because you keep seeing Ugandans get agitated by so many different things. That time gets to come when you keep pressing people against the wall. Mr. Museveni and his regime might think that they have got a very good grip. I'm sure he's looking at Kenya and saying that nonsense cannot happen here. It can. Please don't wait for it to happen.
Ebigambo bya musajja mukulu ono Rwomushana Afranka Gashumba genzi maaso n'okubeera ng'abiddamu n'alibako engeri gy'abivulugaavulugamu, njagala obiwulirize bulungi ate naawe obyekkaanye.
Tana abantu basiiba mu byabwe. Gurupu esula mu kkanisa ng'esaba Yesu. Gurupu esula mu mabaala. Gurupu emanyi ekiri mu Amerika n'ekiri wa tejjaako gavumenti. Tesobola kuorganizinga rights singa zino. Okiwulira. Se byabadde Nairobi bibi nnyo, but I can assure you mu Uganda tebisoboka. Singa mujjukira, mukimanyi nti mu Kampala muno mulimu barracks ezisoba mu 15 mu Kampala muno, eziri mu Kampala muno.
Barracks?
Yes. Muve ku zino embuya gye mumanyi. Kawempe awo waliwo barracks.
Kawempe kitundu.
Kawempe wana walinga UCTU waliwo barracks namba eziri mu Kampala muno. Stand by. Class 1. Okwegugunga kwonna bwe kubeerawo basobola okurespond. I'll give you an example. Kati abantu b'ennansana tebakyasobola kwekalakaasa ne bayita mu lubigi. Tekikyasoboka. Babasalirako awo.
Awo nawo waliwo barracks.
Anti wulira wonna amagye gajjudde mu Kampala muno.
You've made as a leader of opposition?
Yeah, firstly, when I got into this office, I knew that it was going to be a tough ride. Tough because I knew I was not ready to sail with status quo. I've been in that parliament for a while. I was chairing a committee, and I had my battles with the leadership of parliament because I refused to jail in, because I refused to do certain things or not to do certain things. And it became tough for me. That's why there were back and forth fights. So when I got into this office, I knew it was going to be tough, but I was ready for that tough challenge. And the toughness keeps showing up. I said a couple of things. One, I will not keep quiet when I see wrong going on, because the cardinal role of the leader of the opposition is to keep the government in check.
True.
Government is the executive, it is the judiciary, it is the legislature. Some people think that government is just Mr. Museveni and his ministers. That's just a part of government. The legislature is part of government too. So I said I'll have to execute that role, tough as things might be. I knew that they will try and handicap me, and they have in many respects. But I said nothing will stop me. I knew for a fact that there's a lot of corruption in that institution. And so I said, whichever part, however small, I'll play to expose this graft, to expose this corruption, I will. And I'm glad that I'm not doing it alone. Citizens have risen.
Atakumira mpera gene maaso n'okubeera nga bankumira ayibe ekyo kimagulu nnyondo okuba senta wetu baffe Saabataka nnyinimu Land Road Wangala mama n'abagereka agereke Uganda. Mbere bulungi nsigadde nzeddeni Beyond the Newsroom gwe makoto. Subscribing, liking, sharing, tutambuze ensonga. Mubeere bulungi banywanyi, tusinkane nga Mungu asiimye nate.